Yes, hello and welcome to the Nordic Skiing World Cup here live from Planica in Slovenia. Feeling the love, feeling Slovenia, feeling ready for some middle distance biathlon indeed. Everything is set, everything is ready to go. All we needed was you, the spectators, and the athletes here. -2 out there on the course. A whole host of Paralympic and World Championship medal-winning athletes have joined us here in Slovenia. So we are in for some top-class Nordic action indeed. Planica, almost the home of ski jumping, set in 1930. Some of the most historic, biggest jumps in history have been made here. And it's situated in the northwestern part of Slovenia. Conditions couldn't be any better. There's barely a breeze. There's certainly no snowfall at present. There is plenty of it underfoot. You can see the picturesque venue that we find ourselves in. Rocky surroundings. Some of the big names won't be looking for any rocky performances. We'll start this morning with the VI, the vision impaired category. We'll go through some of the meanings as the day goes on. You see on the right-hand side of that start list, the classifications change between B1 to B3. We'll talk about visual acuity and classification a little later. We'll have the standing event for the men as well. Some absolute legends of the sport in this one. Benjamin Davier, always the man to beat when his name appears on a start list. But there are some wonderful competitors today for him to tackle. Very much an individual sport, very much down to your own tactics and down to your own determination to get to that line first. The VI events then. Łasiek Bienko, just 17 years of age, representing Poland. And in a matter of moments, he'll be the first to go here. in this middle distance. 10 kilometers, 5 laps of 2. This guide, Wojciech Olzówka. You'll note throughout the course of the morning the different styles between guide and athlete, depending on their vision impairment as well. Nikolai Burdov, no hat, no glasses. It's a rarity, it has to be said. Certainly the hat in these conditions, but I suppose -2, it's actually not that bad. Some of the World Championships a couple of years ago were done in -18 to -20, so there is a huge difference in that respect. It's Pavel Gil, the second of the Poland athletes at the gate. Away goes Pavel Gil. Michael Landa as his guide. The third Polish athlete is scheduled to go next. That will be Piotr Grabowski. And Przewodowski as his guide. There is Piotr. One of the older competitors, Grabowski. "47 years of age." We do have athletes in their 50s. We also have a 14-year-old scheduled to start this morning. So, real great advert for the range of ages that can take part in para sports. Nico Messenger, the only German athlete part of the start list in the men's VI. Alexei Vorobev. 25 years of age. Ivan Guliev is the guide for Vorobev. Anthony Chalancon from France. Alexandre Pouillet is his guide. Away they go. A small gap between them at the start, obviously all factored when it comes to crossing the line. Anatoly Kovalyevsky. 30-year-old from Kiev. Former sprint world champion back in 2017. 5th place finisher at the last World Championships. There's Kovalevsky. This is Alexander Chulkin. Chulkin just 23.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Vladimir Kajerulin goes next. Bib number 10. Dmitry Burushkov as his guide. Alexander Artemov. "29-year-old on New Year's Eve." Suyako getting ready to go next. I mentioned Benjamin Davier being a legend in the standing earlier on, but Yuri Holub, who's not taking part here in this World Cup, the reigning world and Paralympic champion, Salancon, finished down in third in that event, so we have him here. Rashetinsky getting going. Denis Nikulin is his guide. Penultimate starter then. Nikolai Polukin. We should have one final athlete to go. Stanislav Chukolev, but some of the early runners already at the range then. There is our final starter, Stanislav Chukolev. Oleg Golodichuk is the guide for Chukolev. So they're all away. Everyone that was meant to start has done. See the athletes setting off from the range. Penalised for missing, of course. 5 targets to go at. This is the VI athletes have headphones on here at the range. There's a loud, high-pitched frequency that goes through those headphones, and as they set their sighters on the targets, there's a certain frequency they want to find and fire at that point to give them a chance of hitting the target. Again, variations in this depending on their visual acuity. It's a good shot to see, to give you an idea of the distance between shooter and target. It's Messinger. Karulin on one of the various climbs. It's all about steady climbs, steady drops, and flat parts of the course to push yourself against. The upper body strength and endurance, a huge part to play in all of the Nordic disciplines, of course, whether it be the sprint or the biathlon. Of course, that difference being your heavy breathing and your heart rate, trying to just steady that off when you get to the range. And already a little overtaking from Suryako, Ukraine athlete, catching up on a starter before him. Chukolev leading the World Cup points table as it stands. And of course, the schedule for this event, like all other events around the world over the last year or so, heavily affected by circumstances in various countries. Great to see live sporting action taking place and brought to you as well. Well, looking, just going through your shot there, see joint leader of the World Cup standings. Bird off, just leaving the range. This is Palukin going through your shot, 38-year-old. From Tyumen, Russian Federation. Been competing in Nordic for around about 15 years. I'll give you an example. In fact, he was part of the medal winners in Vancouver back in 2010. Paralympic Winter Games. He picked up a medal in everything he entered. Here as to how good he is. Gold in the long distance VI back in 2015 as well. So a real legend of the sport. A re-emergence for Palukin in the last few years. Choklev, who was last to go. He and Palukin, as I mentioned, leaders of those World Cup standings so far. 21 years of age, Choklev. He and Palukin both using the Tyumen Regional Centre of Sports Preparation over in the Russian Federation as their base. Again, both been away from international sport for a few years for various reasons. Another is a former world champion as well. You see the first man to go, that's Blanzis Bienko. Choklev leading in the Early stages, from what I can tell, the information at the moment. So good start for Chukalev and Polukin. Quite bunched up, the 2 kilometre laps instead of 2.5 kilometre laps, meaning that it can be fairly congested at parts. Resetinsky. The 8-year-old. Yaramenko, his guide. Searching for a first ever gold at major internationals. Resetinsky. Came close to being on the podium in Pyeongchang, a 4th place finish in the 7.5K VI event. Just a couple of bronze medals during his time in Prince George, the long distance, and then part of the relay as well. Resetinsky will always be a threat when it comes to any major event, including obviously the World Cup events we find ourselves at here. But Resetinsky will know, at least his guide will be able to tell him that Nikolai Polukin will be one of those that's trying to chase him down. He started in bib 14, so just behind Resetinsky, who is just approaching the range now. The urgency with Nikolai Polukin in the background there, just desperately trying to get in position as quickly as possible. As I talked about earlier, this now is the important part of that biathlon, is settling yourself, resting, making your body understand that your arms need to be as stable as possible, as well as your concentration. That was Resetinsky trying to get away as quickly as possible, accurately as possible, of course, as well, is what they're looking for. That's Messenger flying away. 3rd the World Cup standings so far.
Here.
26-year-old from Freiburg, Germany. Part of the relay bronze team in Prince George. Another that's only narrowly missed out on major international medals at the big events. The 4th place finish of the last World Championships in Canada in that freestyle. But again, sitting 3rd in the World Cup schedule as we start to think about welcoming the standing event entrants as well. So Marco Meyer will get on the course fairly soon. We have a 20-minute gap between the start of the men's VI and the standing event. We'll bring you the women's equivalent in this same session as well. And then we'll also have the sitting events to come from Planica here on day one of this broadcast. On Sanghyun. Again, with the standing, there's varying impairments to take into consideration, and the clock is manipulated for that. Each classification, each impairment is measured. An algorithm put together, if you like, for the clock to move at a certain speed. Ruslan Reiter, who I'm going to talk a bit more about later because I don't know a great deal about Ruslan. I've never come across him before. There's a fair amount of new names, and as there always is in between the cycles, pushing towards achieving your goal of reaching the next major event. Of course, World Championships this year heavily impacted. Of course, with Beijing now less than a year away, the attention turns to that. For these athletes, of course, the attention is tackling the 10 kilometers that's right in front of them. Alexander Ehre going for Germany just then. Alexander Pronkov next up. Again, you see no use of poles here. So you think about the core body strength that is needed. Not necessarily on the flat, certainly not on the down, but have a think about the uphill parts of that course without the ability to use poles in the hands. I mean, that is some real strength in the lower part of the body. Some problems there on the range. See how much that impacts the results a little later on. This is Grigory Vovchenski. Single pole user in the left hand. Away he goes. Podlozorov, also representing Russian Federation, getting away. One of three Russians in this. Here he is then. All eyes. Normally, he'll be used to this. He'll be absolutely used to this. Benjamin Davier, the attention, the cameras, the pressure. He's also used to getting on top of the podium. So Davier sets off, the reigning world and Paralympic champion of this event. The 31-year-old is away. Lakomchev is next out, and the last one out when it comes to the men's standing. So we have all of the VI and we have all of the standing athletes out on the course. Of course, those VI athletes now will be starting to approach the final throws of their event, whilst the standing, of course, are in the early start as well. Polukin in the VI event went through the 6 kilometer checkpoint at 17:11.2, which means that he is currently in first position. He's got a fairly healthy lead as well, because Karulin is the only athlete I can see at the moment with the time to get anywhere near him after 6 kilometers. Obviously, we'll wait and see what the standings are for a few other athletes as they come through. But Karulin went through at 19:11. So at the moment, Polukin is having the best of it. This is Barsic Bienko. Finds himself in currently in 6th, having gone through, of course, in the checkpoint first. But so we'll expect that to drop down. He was 12th after the second lap round on 4 kilometers. It's, some 4 minutes down on Nikolai Polukin. He was just behind Nikolai Burdov. Chalancon, who is coming up to the 6 kilometer timing.
25 pa 26 prihaja.
There's Pronkov. Lekontsev, who you saw go last from the start gate for the standing athletes, is the current leader of the World Cup. Davier finding himself in 2nd. Lozorov, 4th in the rankings, but he went out 3rd to last in that. So Polukin, Chokhlaev now setting a time that is just 8 seconds back. So it's interesting. It really is in the men's VI. Chokhlaev and Polukin, as they have been throughout the World Cup, battling it out with each other. There's Davier going through the screen. There's Vovchinsky. So those times again in the VI. Polukin went through 6 kilometers at 17:11.2. Chokhlaev went through 6 kilometers at 17:18.8. So just some 8.6 seconds, the split between the two. Lesatinsky in 3rd, 17:47. So in fact, just inside 36 seconds separates the top 3. Artemov a little further back in 4th position. So that top 3, just over 35 seconds, the split between them. So could be a good finish to come in the men's VI event. Concentration levels needed. That was Chalancon from France. There's Lekimchov. World Cup leader coming into shot. Lekontsev, 26 years of age. Four gold medals in his last World Championships to match the 2 golds he took at his home games in Sochi. There's Davier in the background. So it's very much controlled carnage inside the shooting range. The volunteers and team staff all helping out to make sure there aren't any collisions and making sure the athletes get into the right areas to take their shots. Away goes Lekontsev. With his absence, Davier has enjoyed his time. It's battle resume this season where possible. Let's go back to the timings in the VI category then. Polukin, Karolin, Vorobev. It's Russian Federation 1, 2, and 3 as it stands. But again, we wait for Chokoleyev's time to come through. We also want Resetinsky as it stands. So those timings were for those that have gone through 8 kilometers. Polukin, 22:38 when he went through last time. So Karolin and Vorobov both some 2.5 to 3.5 minutes back as Macha Meyer entering the shooting range. Penalised with a small lap. Did you miss? So it's not what you want, of course. See how he fares in the results later. There you go. This is what I talked about, the congestion. Trying to make sure you're not blocking those that are attempting to fly past in variation of the speeds that we have here in Nordic. It's not like flying past you in Alpine perhaps, but here certainly on the move. Nico Messenger into that long left-hand bend on the course. It's a real looper. Mr. Reiter, American, we talked about there, bib number 23. German is on the move. Chokolaev, 0.3. When they went through 8 kilometers, he was just 3 seconds back. When they start to come into the finish, this is going to be really interesting. So Messenger is going to come across here pretty much level with Bertov coming through, and a whole raft of VIs coming through at the same time. So it got real bunched up. We'll wait for the official timings and results to be able to check them, but certainly we saw Nico Messenger get across the line. Messenger was down in around about 10th position after 8 kilometers, but that was an almighty finish from him. You'll see plenty of them coming up in the background. The important ones will be Polukin and Chokolaev. Polukin has led this since between 4 and 6 kilometers. But that lead between him and Chokolaev, the joint World Cup leaders, was just 3 seconds after they'd gone through 8 kilometers. How much more will that change? Resetinsky, who's been third for large parts of this, pretty much, in fact, every lap, Resetinsky has maintained third. So we'll We'll have to wait and see what his time is. We're not able to bring those to you just yet. It's some 1.4 back. So in terms of gaining a lead, that wasn't going to be possible unless there was a mistake. But so here we go then. Some of the big names coming through. Suyako also pushing towards the finish, but Olukin and Chokolev, the ones we're looking out for in terms of the winning times. Satinsky, I would imagine the current leader. Suyako comes through as well. Satinsky there, you can see, just taking a couple of breaths as would be needed after a very hard 10 kilometers. Trying to get you there. Official times coming in, so 28:33 for Resetinsky. Polukin 26:48. It's Chokolev coming towards an end. And a real big push to the finish then. Chokolev towards the finish. Has been in second for the last 2 laps. He was just 3 seconds back on timings at the end of 8 kilometers. He is now pushing towards the finish to see if he can match 24 or 26:48, should I say. Resetinsky 28:33 at the moment. Karule on 29:54. And as they come through the line, we have to wait agonizingly for that final time. Oh, he's done it. Chokolev, 26:45.8. He's gone from 3 seconds back to 3 seconds ahead. What a finish from Chokolev. What a wonderful effort that is over the final 2 kilometers. These are unofficial results, of course. It's what I can see on my screens in terms of timings. We have to wait for these all to be made official, but 26:45 is what I'm registering here. Nikolai Polukin, 26:48, 10 kilometers and just a matter of seconds between them. Oh, the 31-year-old Chokolev. B1 classified skier. That's little or no visual acuity. And he, the 2015 middle distance world champion. Looks like he's taken this one here, 26:45. Try and get you those official results as quickly as we can. We'll try and get them on screen for you as well. Chalankon and Garbowski's times still missing from the system here. This is Benjamin Davier. So we can start to now concentrate on the men standing a little bit more. Of athletes coming into the range together. Davier being one of those here. And bib number 28 then. Won his first major medal back in Sochi. Got a bronze in the relay there, but it was all about what he could do individually. Took a medal from every event at the 2015 World Championships. He turned those into some golds in 2017. The Finstrau edition of this World Championships. And then Pyeongchang and Prince George were just heaven. Prince George, 5 gold medals. He was absolutely flying. You do have to recognize the return of Russian athletes to contests. And Vladislav Lekomchev is one of those. Lekomchev at the range. And what I would say is the fact that he's right behind Davier leaving would indicate that he's put some serious pressure onto the Frenchman. Lekomchev up and away. There's Ruslan Reiter. That's Vovchinski just going out of shot. And now coming in towards the range. All start to get moved. The thought process turns now to concentration and accuracy. Foreground, that's Kwon Sang-hyun. In the early stages, through 6 kilometers, I can tell you that Davier does indeed have the lead. He's had the lead from the very first lap as well. In fact, Lekomchev at one point dropped down into 3rd position, 11:37.4. When he went through 4 kilometers, he regained 2nd when he came through 6 kilometers. But only a matter of 2 seconds separated Lekomchev and Kodlozarov. So again, Russian Federation athletes pushing hard, but it is Davier. A real king of Nordic. He's Benjamin Davier. And he's giving us an early morning masterclass as well. My system showing he hasn't missed a beat here. The reason Lekomchev dropped into 3rd was I think he got 2 penalties, which is really hard to take and very difficult to then push on to be part of the leading pack. But Lekomchev's speed elsewhere has meant that he's managed to get back ahead of Kodlozarov. Davier hasn't missed a beat and was 47 seconds ahead at that 6 kilometer moment. So here he is in the background there, number 28. He's already gone past bib number 24. So Alexander Erle, who has also had a miss at the range. Has been down in 5th position most of the time.
Yeah.
Davier flying. Lekomchev, Kodlozarov, Pronkov, Erle. That's the top 5. They're chasing down. Macher has had some troubles at the range too. A singular miss and then a double miss on his 3rd journey. You would fancy that a clean set of 5 for Davier next time at the range will be enough for the Frenchman to continue to reign here in the snow. Here is Lekontsev. Davier, you can see at the top right of your screen, is in the rain. So this is really, really vital now. How close can Lekontsev get? A miss here for either could have big, big repercussions when it comes to the finish. But you fancy at the moment the way that Davier has been performing so far here in this middle distance event. You see the chest moving up and down as he tries to get some oxygen into those lungs and then just hold for a second whilst he steadies that gun. And away goes Davier. I'll try and tell you what he's done at the range in a second. Lekontsev is the man you feel that could put the pressure on to Benjamin Davier. We'll find out in a few moments just how close this battle is. We had just 3 seconds separating the men's VI a moment ago. And there you go. There's the, in fact, it was 2.46 when the official results came through. Well done, Stanislav Tochleyev, who managed to take that in just under 3 seconds. He was about 3 seconds down going into that final 2 kilometers. So that is a big, big turnaround. Wovchinski going through your shot. There is a man who will be mightily disappointed with his day so far. He's found himself down in 7th position. He's some 4 minutes back here, and mainly due to penalties. His first 3 visits at the range, missed 2, missed 2, missed 1. That's how you miss medals. He will know that. Still, though, fighting hard against the course, fighting hard against the elements. There's later the American. I'm absolutely loving the American outfits, I have to say. I'm not saying it'll suit me, I'm just saying I enjoy them. This is Kwon Thang-hyun. Climbing with just the use of the single pole in the right hand. Those uphill sections really are difficult on the mind and the body. And, well, that is Davier right behind Lekontsev. So Lekontsev is fighting back here. Now, last time through the 8-kilometer mark, Lekontsev had got the gap down from 47 seconds to 12. I think we're in for one heck of a finish here. Lekontsev is motoring, absolutely moving. Davier has led this for 8 kilometers. Vladislav Lekontsev has other ideas, it seems. Into the long left-hand loop. At 8 kilometers, Kodlozorov was in 3rd. Lekontsev is moving. Screams of encouragement from various coaches and team members on the sides, you can hear. And through the line they come then. So, well, lie down you may, because that is one unbelievable sprint in the final stages. The muscles in those legs will be burning. Davier hits the deck as well. Those two have put on a show, and they are in pain. Quite rightly. They have absolutely bust everything to get there. Lekontsev is back up, and I, for one, am desperately waiting to see the results. Lekontsev's taken it. Oh, unbelievable. Absolutely spectacular. It looks like he's taken it in less than a second. On my screen, I've got Lekontsev here at 25.24. I've got Davier at 25.25. Staggering. Absolutely staggering. Well, of course, these are unofficial results that I'm reading here on a screen to my right-hand side. But Lekontsev was 47 seconds down at 6 kilometers. Less than half the race to go. And the Russian has absolutely bulldozed through the time in front of him. And Davier did miss on his final visit. I've just seen that come through now. So he needed a clean last visit. He didn't get one. And that penalty looks like being the difference maker between Lekontsev and Davier. There's Alexander Ehler of Germany. He's currently sitting in 5th position as far as I can see, but we'll just wait for those official results to come through. A couple of athletes still forcing their way through. There's Wojcinski, who I said would be bitterly annoyed at how he's performed, perhaps in the sense of the misses that he's had. Kodlozorov, it does look like he's going to take 3rd. 26.19.7 showing on the system at the moment. So you can see that Wojcinski is settling for his lot. He knows that his performances in the range will have cost him any chances of a top 3 finish here in this World Cup event. But points-wise, performance-wise, it's a huge round of applause for Lekontsev if those official results stick, because, well, 25-40, 25-24, 25-25. I mean, there's close. And then there's here in Planica. Here comes Wojcinski then, coming through the line. Ruslan Reiter of USA just in the background. You might have saw him a second ago. And there it is. It's Kodlozorov having a time put through. I can tell you, Lekontsev and Davier definitely 1 and 2 from what I can see. Ruslan Reiter, I was going to say, I wonder if he's enjoyed that. I don't think enjoy is quite the right phrase we're all looking for, but I tell you what, he will know he's been in a race. Hwang Sang-yeon is, I think, still out on the course. At least I'm expecting him to come through. There he is. Look at that. So everyone else is in. Kwon, the final athlete to start to enter the finish area. 23 years of age and obviously immense pride at being able to represent his nation at a home games. Oh, look at the time at the bottom of your screen. Left-hand side, 0.47. And I can't tell you the irony in the symmetry here because 47 was the gap in seconds that Lekomchev was behind. He's now won it by 0.47. We don't write sport, we just watch it. We don't write sport, we just let these guys get on with it. And what do they write? Pure drama. Unbelievable drama. 0.47 of a second. Amazing. Simply amazing. At 6 kilometers, Vladislav Lekomchev was down by 47.2 seconds. 4 kilometers later, he's won it by 0.47. Brilliant. Well, there you are, the guys and girls that help to maintain the course are out there now because there's a gap between those two magnificent men's events and the opposite for the female coming up. So women's events starting a matter of moments, but those results that have just happened, some fantastic turnarounds. Some fantastic turnarounds when it came down to the final lap. Parasport or not parasport, if you're watching this, what you're watching, forget their impairments. It's the attitude, it's the application, it's the determination to finish on top spot. And regardless of your age or your impairment, and you're watching it, just take note of those characteristics alone. Forget the skill that's involved. Forget the application of the rifle range or the skiing itself. Take a look at dedication and drive.
So that you know, and then we will start with the start list for the women.
Look back at some of the action that we've just seen, but yeah, take note of what I just said there. That is a real opportunity to look at the mental attitude and desire of athletes, not just what they possess skill-wise. Just because you're 47 seconds back, just because you're in second position, does that mean it's where it ends? According to some of our athletes this morning, absolutely not. So again, just taking a look back at some of the action that's been given to us here in Planica, the northwestern part of Slovenia. And the snow here has been treated to a spectacle. The men's VI event was close. The men's standing event was even closer. Benjamin Davier, as you can see in the background, chasing Lekomchev. And Davier needed another 0.47 to have secured top spot, and he couldn't find it in that final stretch. Lekomchev dropping to the floor demonstrated just how much effort he'd put in. And there's Davier just collapsing almost. So we turn our attentions then to the women's events. Just about bang on time from my list. Leonie Maria Walter. Walter's guide is Pyramid Strecker. Walter, just 16 years of age. Vivian Hirsch going next. What we didn't see was the first athlete that was scheduled to go was Lynn Kasmeijer. And Lynn Kasmeijer is just 14. "10 kilometers for a 14-year-old to get away around." So clearly, German team sees a talent, and she has the opportunity to learn not only from those around her, but maybe a little bit more about herself. She's also competing against the current world champion. There she is, Clara Klug. Finds herself down the pecking order when it comes to the World Cup at the moment. Of course, those World Cup standings often depend on how many events you've taken place in as well, or taken part in, should I say. So there goes Oksana Shiskova. Vera Kalisova with her guide Natalia Yakimova. Yakimova leading the way. Final athlete to go then in the women's VI, Anna Panferova, guided by Andrei Zhukov. No rules between a male or female guide in the competition. A guide can be anyone you like. There's variations of guides right across para snow sports. Brother and sister combinations, husband and wife combinations. Nothing to say who can guide you. As long as it works for you, I suppose that's the key element, isn't it? Although maybe harder to shout at your husband or your brother. So we're into the women's events here then. And we can actually give you the results of the earlier event then. Chokolaev from Polukin in the men's VI. Still waiting for confirmation, I think, of the men's standing. I'm hoping we're going to bring you that next to show you the difference in times. I believe it to be, there you go, look at that. Vladislav Lekomchev takes it from Benjamin Davier by 0.47 of a second. Kodlosarov, also of Russia, getting into third. He just ahead of compatriot Alexander Pronkov. That's Rechtenwald moving ahead. Again, we'll try and keep you up to speed with lap times and such as we go along. Five athletes from Germany in this classification. Kasmeier, Rechtenwald, Walter, Husch and Klug. Four athletes from the Russian Federation. Umrilova, Smirnova, Kilizova and Panterova. The odd lady out is Oksana Shiskova. She won't want compatriot, she'll want points. So into the range they all start to come. And we wait for the athletes to make their first visit. There's Walter. Real bunched up already in the early stages as Kulisova starts to catch up on the early starters. There's a bit of a struggle there for the German athletes. Again, just look at the speed here of Kulisova. You can hear the instructions of guides perhaps through your screens as well. And again, we talked earlier on about the differences between guides and the work that they do. You see bunched up, you see distanced. Clara Klug there, her guide, fairly far in front. Clara relying on instructions, but okay with the distance between. Those ones in B1, like Clara Klug, having completely blacked out glasses, so because of that B1 status. But then you take somebody like Kilisova, who has a slightly better visual acuity than Klug. So those guides, sometimes it's about being as close as possible for them to follow the shape or the colour. On go the headphones once again to give them a high-pitched frequency in the ears. A certain frequency means that they're on target, and they have to try and maintain that. And again, you see the chest heaves to take in the oxygen, and then all of a sudden it settles as they try and keep that body and keep those arms nice and steady. And that's quick work here from Kilisova, and she is sprinting. Away goes Hirsch. Vivian Hirsch with Alexander Wilde. Away goes Klug. So, early leader then. Won't be a surprise to know it's Kilisova at the moment. We're waiting for Pantarova's first lap time, but Kilisova certainly looks like she is on the fly here in this middle distance event. Natalia Yakimova guiding away Kilisova to a 7.05 time over the first 2 kilometers. So what can the rest do? Smirnova was in second by just under 30 seconds, in fact, just under 25 seconds. Leonie Walter, who is on your screen now, was in third at the moment until we have those final few times. That's unconfirmed, of course. Kazmea, 2 misses at the range and a 9-minute lap for the 14-year-old. See the athletes holding onto the pole through the speedier sections. Give them some stability. That was Leonie Walter. Still just 17. Still waiting for Panfarova's time. Smirnova. Julia Smirnova. 22 years of age. Studied law. The Tumen State University. Good Smirnova. Missed out on a medal in the long distance freestyle in Sochi. Her absence from recent years' events. A 4th place finish there. This will be something that she'll be looking to build upon. Of course, very young when that fourth place happened. You're talking 5 years ago, so 17. Which in this discipline, when the body reaches full strength, perhaps not by the time you're 17. So she'll be hoping to be stronger physically, mentally, and perhaps turn some results previously into something better. Kilisova going strong. Try and take a look at our times then. Still not showing anything for over, so we'll try and see if we can deal with that. Karina Edlinger, by the way, was meant to start bib number 32. That was a DNS, so did not start. So we are down by at least one athlete. Also not registering a time for Pamfarova. I'm not seeing her on the screen either, so not one to assume anything, but we'll try and fill you in on that in a couple of moments. Kilisova trying to get away from the range with a clean 5. Otherwise, it's a penalty lap, and Kilisova is up and seemingly away. So another good visit for Kilisova. Clara Klug was down in 5th position from the early stages. The winning standing is due to get going in just a matter of moments, so the chaotic congestion will start. This is a look back a couple of moments ago and a little mishap. I think that's Clara Klug, in fact, as well. Yeah, so Clara Klug has been on the deck, which is not where you want to be. It takes away all of your momentum. It certainly throws you off kilter. And, Martin Herschel will be looking to get, excuse the pun, Clara back on track. Klug into the range. So Klug getting down to take her next 5 shots. Kilisova went through at 13, 14.7, 45 seconds ahead of Smirnova. Maybe we're not in for the drama that we had in the first round. And in fact, Anna Penferova, I think, has withdrawn here because she missed 4 from 5 in the opening round and hasn't gone through her first lap time. So we can't confirm that. But my gut feeling here, having missed 4, perhaps something wasn't quite right for Anna Penfedova. So I'm going to work on the theory she's no longer out on the course because I haven't seen her either. This is Danielle Adovic. USA athlete getting going. Just 6 ladies in the women's standing 10K here in this middle distance biathlon. Yvette Faron from Poland. Then it's 4 athletes from Ukraine. Next, Lyashenko, Platenkova Bauman, Irina Bui, and Alexandra Kononova. That's Lyashenko, the reigning world champion from Prince George. She was bronze in Pyeongchang, so managing to turn that into a gold a year later would have been a pure delight for Lyashenko. Lyashenko with the maximum amount of points in the World Cup standings as well. Platenkova Bauman. This is Irina Bui. Talk about youngsters coming through. It's still only 25. And so Platenkova Bauman, by contrast, 37. It's Kononova. Kononova, who's 29. She is the final of the 6 athletes to come through. Competed back in Vancouver. She was just 19. She was the youngest member of the team when she had the opportunity to do that. And, wow, just picked up 3 goals, didn't she? No pressure. The 12.5K, the 5K, and the 1K sprint as well. So certainly a real talent from a young age. And here, going out last, giving her an opportunity to try and pick up some World Cup points here. It's quite funny when you read through the athlete biographies to get a more of an understanding of them. And I love one of the questions is your ambition. And it's like 9 times out of 10 to get a medal at Pyeongchang, to get a medal at the next games in Beijing, of course. So understandable, the drive and determination that these guys and girls all have to find themselves medal winners in Beijing in the early part of 2022. Shiskova down in 5th earlier on. Herself up to 4th. It's gone past in fact, has gone up to 4th, having gone past Vechtenwald and staying ahead there. But behind Walter, Leonie Walter looking in a good position to come in 3rd position here. Germany not allowing the party of Russians to take all of those top positions. And in fact, I think Vechtenwald has now gone through, register herself in 4th, but okay, Shiskova needs her next time. Walter has gone through in 3rd. She's chasing Smirnova, and then Kilizova is having it all her own way. She's 1 minute 45 ahead. We've had Lots of drama in the men's event. Not quite sure we're going to get the same here in the women's. Vera Kilisova is in charge. That's Faron from Poland. Sweeping her way through the course. I'll concentrate on the VI timings for now. 21-year-old Iveta Faron. Only in her fourth year of competition is Fallon, obviously heavily impacted by the situation around the world at the moment. So whatever improvements she was making, now concentration is to keep those going. A fifth place finish in the relay with the team in Prince George. The highest individual place she got was a sixth in the middle distance event. So something that she clearly wants to improve on. Currently being chased down by Lyashenko, the reigning world champion from that event. So having somebody breathing down your neck just happens to be the world champion. And there is Lyashenko getting down to business in the range. Up in the background is Faron, and away she goes. Arovich, the American, up she comes. And there is the reigning world champion then. Lyashenko, away she goes. And that's the very early stages of the women's standing. You see a couple of the VI athletes coming through. This one mainly, Kilisova, absolutely in control. No dramas, no worries, no problems, it would seem. 6 kilometers was done in 1919. Nice bit of symmetry. Sklinova still in second. Leonie Valter in third. But Kilisova maintains a very early and healthy lead. Nearly 2 minutes. What's the difference? Into the range, then another steady 5 is what she will crave. Again, I mentioned earlier, I was taking a look at the flags in the background. There seems to be very little wind, if any at all, here in Planica out on the course. So no blaming that for any misses. At the moment, though, she's got 3 zeros in terms of missing from the past. That is Rechtenval getting away, who also hadn't missed so far out on the range. Away went Kilisova as well. Oksana Shishkova, who was down in fourth after 6 kilometers. Kononova doesn't have a time for the first lap in the standing event, but I can tell you that Lyashenko, the world champion, does 7:05 over the first 2 kilometers, which puts her ahead of both Bui and Butenkova Bauman. There's a Ukraine 1, 2, 3 at the moment, Farron and Arovich. Just waiting for Kononova's time to see if the 30-year-old has an impact on that. So in towards the final stages then for some of the VI athletes. They'll start to be thinking about their last time at the range, their last lap of the course, just 2 kilometers each lap. I say just. 2 grueling kilometers up, down and flat. Now Walter has just registered in 2nd position here. I think we're still waiting for Smirnova's 3rd lap time. We are, so that's why she's moved up at the moment, but putting the pressure on. And in fact, Walter doing well to be anywhere near the top 3 as it stands, having missed 1, 1 and 2 in the last 3 visits to the range. Kalisova's range scores look like she hasn't missed a single shot. And that's perfection from the coach's perspective, from the team's perspective, from the athlete's perspective as well. Your speed out on the course is one thing, but if you're derailing yourself with misses at the range, with penalty laps, etc., then that's a difference maker. You see going round the penalty loop. That's Kazmir. Lynn Kazmir, the young 14-year-old. Now, Anna Panfilova, who I mentioned a little bit earlier on, bib number 41, has indeed gone round here and is having not the best of times, you have to say, with the gun. The 22-year-old has missed 4 of 5 on both occasions. I thought she may have dropped out, but she is having a little struggle out there. Panfilova missing 4 on the first visit, 4 on the second visit, showing nothing for the 3rd visit, which would be a massive improvement, but she's found herself some 7 minutes back. Clara Klug, who we saw hit the deck earlier on. I don't have a second 2 kilometres or a third 2 kilometres, so I do wonder if she's perhaps hurt herself. So we'll look out for bib 38 in case we see that. But bib 40, that belongs to the leader and, well, apparent winner of this one at a bit of a canter. Kalisova making real short work of this contest. He was some 2.5 minutes ahead of Smirnova after 8 kilometres. Shiskova has got herself up into 3rd. I did think that Walter's last 2 visits, or last 3 visits, she's accrued penalties on each of them. And eventually that's going to prove to be quite costly, it would seem, because she's fallen behind Shiskova by some 16 seconds. And Kilisova is concentrating now on getting to the finish line, which at this stage appears to be where she will be crowned the victor in this one, because at 25.29, that's when she went through 8 kilometres. Here she comes in towards the finish line. This is ridiculously good. Well, Veda Ilisova, you beat what's in front of you. And the smile is because she's absolutely bashed it. She has flown through this course. She's breezed the targets. Perfect shooting, perfect skiing. And Ilisova, yes, Leonie Walter collapsing. That's what it meant to her. That's the effort that she's put on. Ilisova gave us a smile. There is a real difference, isn't there, between those two reactions at the line. We'll wait for the official results to come through, but I can tell you that in 30 minutes and 26 seconds exactly, Vera Ilisova has taken this one. Leonie Walter comes through at 33.44. Rechtenval coming through just there in 34.52.1. Smirnova, who was in second, comes through, and we'll look at that time in a second when it registers. But I would imagine that Smirnova will be in second position. Yes, she is, 33.07. So a full 3 minutes and 19 seconds. Just slightly less than that. We'll wait for the official times to give us that. But Smirnova certainly not close enough to Ilisova to make an impression on that top spot. Pantarova, who we haven't seen a great deal of out on the course. I was leaning towards a withdrawal at one point. It took quite a while. In fact, I'm just waiting for her official result. She's showing 3 sets of 4 misses at the range in those opening 3 laps. So you have to say back to the drawing board on that one. Lynn Krasmeier clearly tiring as well towards the end. The youngster was doing okay. 2 misses, 1 miss, 2 misses. That final visit to the range for the 14-year-old accumulated 4 misses from 5, which obviously that's a huge strain with the penalty laps at that point. Shishkova coming through. She appears to have had a good day with the gun. No misses registering for Shishkova. And that might be why she finishes in third here. Can she put pressure on to second? Not quite. 33.33. So the drama here is for second, third, and fourth. Just 0.4 difference between them. Smirnova finishing on 33.07. Shishkova finishing on 33.33. Walter finishing on 33.44. So it really was fairly tight between second, third, and fourth. A minute or so back was Rechtenwald in fifth. So the 2 German athletes just missing out on the top spots. It is Kasmeyer. Kasmeyer with Florian Baumann. Big responsibility for a guy with such a young athlete to make sure that she remains comfortable out there on the course. And obviously, I'm sure the coaching staff of the German team will know, but pushing her at the right speed, pushing her at the right time with her age. As I said earlier, they obviously have something they see that is a potential to be here and taking part at such a young age. Again, you get a sense of the temperatures out there on the course. Just a visor being used. That will also be an aid to blocking the shoots of sunlight that are coming through the mountainous sidelines that we have. But here comes young Kasmaya. I do wonder if when the official results come through, how much those misses with the gun in the final round will mean. And down she goes, and that was almost inevitable after 10 kilometers for a 14-year-old to have felt that. It's like training for 10 kilometers in competition when you're pushing yourself. That's when the mental attitude changes, doesn't it, slightly? And that's where differences can be made with athletes, how their mental preparation helps them. A couple of the standing athletes going through. That's Kononova. Go back now and take a look at the standing category. Kononova, the early leader after 4 kilometers, 13.01. The reigning world champion, Lyudmila Lyashenko, 10 seconds down, but on today's performances, 10 seconds, that's nothing. We have seen all manner of changes. It is important to maintain 5 from 5 where possible. You see Kononova there, just single hand on the gun. Ukraine athletes in 1, 2, 3, and 4 after 4 kilometers. And Kononova's already gone as well. This is Faron. Aravic will be somewhere near as well. That was Patenkova Bauman, 37-year-old, joining the range. Closely followed by Irina Bui. I think that was Aravic coming in just as the camera left. So there is the youngster from Germany leaving the course. There is Aravic in the foreground. That was almost a smile. I wonder if that was clean. Single pole user, the impairment on the left arm, seemingly around about the elbow. And Aravic going round a lap, so maybe the smile was, oh, I've got to do that again. Final few finishes in a bit of a struggle out on the course for a couple. We'll take a look at the timings now for VI. That was Vivian Hirsch coming through. I'm waiting for Anna Panferova, who has missed 4 from 5 on all 4 occasions with the gun. So Panferova will be down in last place, you would imagine. And those big misses from a tiring Lynn Gasmaya mean that she will finish down in 8th. Those 4 misses on the last visit proving very, very costly. She was actually going through at 8th constantly, so she needed some clean visits with the rifle. Vivian Hoos will finish down in 7th. She was 6th for most of it, but was passed by Umrilova towards the end. I think Hoos had a difficult last lap. This is Panferova. Still plenty of course for her to go through, actually. Rechtenwald, Walter, Shiskova and Smirnova all chasing Veda Kilisova, who will take this title here in Planica. Penfelova just moving through the final stages then. She'll be heading towards the finish section fairly shortly, and that will give us a completion of the women's VI. Over in the standing then, Lyashenko has gone through 6 kilometers, so too has Kononova, and Lyashenko has turned it round. And in style, she's some 57 seconds ahead here. That's a huge turnabout. And here is Lyashenko. So the world champion has put the afterburners on, it would seem, between 4 kilometers and 6. And has found her super skis. Bui stays in third. Tenkova Baumann down in fourth. There's not a great deal between those two. Iveta Farron in fourth position. She's comfortable in front of Aravich of America, 4:25.6 behind this lady here. Lyashenko then. The 27-year-old Lyudmila Lyashenko from Kharkiv in Ukraine. Two Paralympic Winter Games to her name. Sochi didn't yield any medals. Pyeongchang certainly did, but she couldn't get past the bronze when it came to those games in South Korea. She got one in the mixed relay, but it was bronze in the 6K. It was bronze in the 15K freestanding, and it was bronze in the 10K standing as well. So wanted to improve on that, and Prince George certainly was her moment. Gold in the middle distance, this area event. Gold in the sprint. Gold in the long distance, as well as the relay as well. So certain improvements from Lyashenko, and there you can see Kononova just in front of her in the shot. Now, obviously, where people are on the course is often diluted in terms of information because of the times being factored against their impairment, so don't read too much into that. You saw that with the men's standing event a little bit earlier on. They were fairly close to each other, but adjudged to have been 0.47 of a second the difference. They certainly were more than that away. So the factored timings mean that sometimes visually what we see on the screen isn't always accurate. So it's all about the finishing statistics, which are the official results that you need. What I can tell you at the moment is Lyashenko hasn't missed at the range so far, and the reason that she has shot ahead was Kononova missed 3 from 5, and Kononova's on her way. I'll be interested to see whether she goes and does laps here, because the results from the range don't come up automatically, unfortunately, but she certainly missed 3 last time around. Lyashenko and now Arina Bui up and away. Now there is someone doing a lap there. Who is that? And it is Kononova again. So having missed 3 last time, Kononova finds herself doing laps, and more than one. So if she had any ideas on being the winner of this one, I think they've just looped away. as she does the penalty loops. Lyashenko appeared to get away cleanly, so and so too did Irina Bui. So it could be that Kononova drops like the proverbial stone here. She was 10 seconds up. She went down to 57.5 behind at 6. Lyashenko has already gone through the 8-kilometer mark, so she's already heading into her final lap, the final turn at the range. It's all change. Arovic. Previous visits for the American were clean on the opening round, 2 and 2 on the second and third. So she'll be hoping for a little bit more of the same. Iberta Faron missing 1, 2 and 2. So will Danielle Arovic go around the loop? We'll find out later with our official results. So here is the race leader then, Lyudmila Lyashenko, the world champion. It was the name on most people's lips when it came to who do you fancy this morning. And Lyashenko would have been the one high up that list for most. And at the moment, she is proving everybody right. Irina Bui went through in second, and in fact, Kononova has indeed dropped right down into fourth position, it seems. So great work for Lyashenko, Bui, and Batenkova Bauman. That should be your 1, 2, 3 here as they're in their final lap. The difference between Kononova and Batenkova Bauman is not great, so you might find Kononova catching there, and she's some 14 seconds back. In fact, it's just 12 seconds back on Irina Bui. But, well, we've had dominance in the women's VI, and it seems we've got dominance in the women's standing as well. If you're going to do it like a world champion, do it in style. No misses at the range. And Lyudmila Lyashenko crushes the opposition to come home in top spot. Confirm that a little bit later, but that's what my understanding is. Lyashenko takes this one. The race is on for second and third. That is Batenkova Bauman, the 37-year-old, trying to get a top 3 finish. Lyashenko's official time then, 30 minutes, 44 seconds exactly. 0 misses at the range. From a coach's perspective, they couldn't have asked for anything better, could they? Bui, 55. Batenkova Bauman, 54. Kononova, 56. They're the bib numbers you're looking for. This is Irina Bui, the 25-year-old. A world champion in her own right, Bui, by the way. Going all the way back to 2013. Very young, but took a middle distance standing event back in 2013, which was pretty impressive. She's failed to win another gold at a major event since then. Crossing the line as well, 54, which is Batenkova Bauman. There is Irina Bui, 55, taking a huge gulp of air as soon as she got to the line. And the final of the 4 Ukrainian athletes coming in then, Alexandra Kononova. And the 30-year-old will know that she's had a lead in this at some point. And a time on the range, a 3 and a 2. Missing 3 and 2 when you're pushing for top spot isn't how you do it. And the coloured headband comes flying through the line. Bui currently with second position, a full minute behind Lyashenko. Butenkova Bauman 5 seconds out from Bui. I'm just going to wait for the official result then from the final Ukrainian athlete Kononova, and in fact she finishes on 31.51. She's missed out on top 3 by half a second. Well, there you go. That is how much those penalty laps can absolutely take glory from you. And it's done it once again. Missing 3 and 2 in the final 2 visits isn't where you need to be. Arovic, by the way, will come in final position in 6th in a few minutes, because her last visit to the range as well, it was 0 on the first visit. She'd have been delighted with that, but 2, 2 and 3 after that. And it is harder. The last few visits become harder because you're tired, you're fatigued, your body is absolutely racing, your heart is pumping, and trying to get steady in those final visits. That's where the real skill is. Arovic will be chasing down to get the better time that she can, but that was Iveta Faron from Poland coming through, bib number 52. Her visits to the range, miss 1, 2, 2 and 1, so no clean visits, something to work on for Faron. There is Danielle Arovic. Don't know a massive amount about her. Here comes the American. The final of the athletes out on the course. You can hear the local support cheering her on. That was definitely an American voice I just heard in the background.
Local.
24-year-old coming into the final stages. You see fellow athletes as well, just offering that encouragement. The newer athletes, it's all about learning. And I'm sure Danielle Arovic has learnt some lessons here. A whoop as she comes over the final hill and into the final straight, if you like. So not going to make a massive effect on the table, but certainly will make an effect on her learning. Faron finished on 34.56 officially. Wait for the time of Arovic. She's 37.40. There you go. There are the confirmed results for the women's standing. Lyashenko, the world champion, doing just what world champions do and taking the title in the standing event.
I think you can wrap it up now, and we will play the commercials, and that will be the end of the show.
So the women's sitting event still to come a little bit later on, but from the standing and the VI events, it's all over. And some fantastic performances we've been treated to indeed. We'll be back shortly.